ब्रह्मनाथ। शांति शांति शांति। स्वस्थ। Hello students, in the previous class we have discussed the infertility in men. In detail, we have also discussed the ART techniques, or we can say assisted reproductive technology, under which we have discussed 6 important techniques that comes under the assisted reproductive technology. In that 6 technique, in detail, we have discussed the in vitro fertilization. What are the various steps involved, what are the drawbacks, what are the significance, everything we have discussed in detail. And also we discussed all the techniques of the ART or the assisted reproductive technology. Today we will discuss our new topic, okay, completely new topic. Reproduction in organism is completed. Today we will discuss our completely new topic, that is your genetics, okay. So before going to the genetics, first we'll discuss some points, okay. So first one, or the first term that we'll discuss, is your heredity. So what is heredity? The inheritance or transmission of characters from one generation to another generation is known as genetics, okay. Means what are the characters that are present in the grandfather is being transferred to the father, or means from father to son. Then some characteristics or the inherited characters are being transferred from the son to the grandson. Means from the grandparent some characteristics are being transferred to the father. From father, some characteristics has been transferred to the son. So we can say it is the inheritance or the transmission of the characters from one generation to another is known as heredity. We can say the inheritance or transmission of characters from one generation to the next generation is known as heredity, okay. Means the characteristics or the various characteristics that are transferred from the one generation to another is known as simply inheritance or the heredity. Second is your variance. Variation, sorry. There is, or we can say there are some sort of difference among the individual of same species, or say, or offspring, or in case of offspring of the same parent. We can say there are some difference in the individuals among the individuals of the same species or offsprings of the same parents. Okay. Acha, what is variation? Means simply we can say if there are the identical twins, or we can say simply there are brothers and sisters, or two brothers or two sisters, then also there will be some sort of variation. Or simply we can say two different individuals, okay, myself and other or my friend, we are morphologically, means we have the morphological appearance is same, but some sort of difference is that by which people can identify my friend or my or myself as me. Okay, so in that manner, if two individuals may be identical twins also, then also there should be, or there may be some sort of, or there must be some sort of variation. Okay, so that is described in this point, that there are some difference among the individual of the same species or offspring of the same parent. Two brothers, two sisters, or even if two identical twins must have some sort of difference, and that is known as your variation. Okay, last one is your genetics. Simply, it is the branch of biology that deals with the heredity and variation. It is the branch of biology that deals with heredity and variation. Heredity and variation. Okay, so three terms first we have discussed. First is your heredity, means it is the inheritance or the transmission of the characters from one generation to the other. Variation means there is some sort of difference between two individuals of same species or of the offspring of the same parent, even if the identical twins have also some sort of difference, that is known as your variation. Last one, genetics. It is the branch of biology which deals with both the heredity and variation, is known as your genetics. Okay, please note down the points. Now we will discuss some more points. First one is your gene. What is gene? It is simply, we can say, it is the functional unit of the inheritance. Okay, it is the functional unit of the inheritance, or we can say it is the simple pair of the nucleotides which is present in the DNA or RNA of the chromosome, which helps in basically transmission of the characters from one generation to the other generation. So we can also say it is the functional unit of the inheritance. Okay. Next, what is allele? What is allele? We can eventually say these are the various forms of a gene. Okay, these are the various forms of a gene which are found at the same place or different locus, same place or locus on a homologous chromosome and control the same character. Okay, which is present on the same place or locus. Place or location is same thing. Locus on a homologous chromosome and control the same character. Example, I will say, for example, this is, you know, the capital T. Okay, clearly see, and this one is your small t. So one of these, capital T is one allele and small t is another allele. Okay, this control the same character present on the same locus of the chromosome, whereas the capital T controls the tallness, whereas the small t controls the dwarf nature. Okay, so these one individuals or this one particular thing which controls the character is known as your allele. Okay, These two when combined, it forms the gene. Okay, to express a particular character. As you know, in this case, you know already, in this case, obviously the capital T is present, small t is present, obviously the capital T is dominant, so it will express the tallness. So we can say this, but this particular gene expresses the tallness factor or the tallness character. Okay, so we can say these are the various allele, these are various forms of gene, means one expresses the tallness, other one expresses the dwarf. Okay, present on the same locus of the same homologous chromosome. Okay, next is your phenotype. Phenotype means what? What is the appearance comes by this genotype. Okay, the T, capital T and small t is present. This is your nothing but the genotype, means it is the genetic constituent. Whereas what it express, in this case it express the tallness. This express your tallness, and this is your phenotype. Okay, what it express is your phenotype, and what is the genetic constituents, means the capital T small t, this is your genotype. Okay, means the individual things are your allele. Completely we can tell it is the gene. Okay, and the phenotype which it express, or we can say the characters which it express, is known as your phenotype. And due to which it express, due to which genotype, it is known as your due to which genetic constituents it express, it is known as your genotype. Means one single T, capital T or small t, is your allele, combinedly gene. Okay, and the this one represents the tallness, then that is a phenotype. What is present? Capital T, small t. This is known as your genetic constituents or genotype. Okay, please note the points. Next we will discuss some more terms. First we will discuss the homologous and the non-homologous chromosome. First we will discuss the homologous. What are the homologous chromosomes? The homologous chromosomes consist of the allele of the same gene of the same loci. It consists of the allele of the same gene having same loci. Okay, in this case the length of both the chromosomes are same. The portion or the centromere position is also same. But what happen in the case of non-homologous chromosome? Simply, in the case of non-homologous chromosome, when the alleles are present on different genes, alleles present on the different genes. Okay, example I will do. Okay, so this is a homologous chromosome, this is a homologous chromosome. Okay, because suppose this is a one number of gene, this is a two number of chromosome or gene. Then this is a homologous chromosome, this is a homologous chromosome. Okay, this is also a homologous chromosome. Okay, because it consists of two allele of the same gene. It also consists of two allele of the same gene. But if we will take these two things, then this is the non-homologous chromosome. Okay, because the allele, it consists of the alleles of two different genes. Okay, so the homologous chromosome means consists of the allele of the same gene of the same locus, whereas the non-homologous chromosome means it consists of the allele of the two different genes. Okay, or we can say of the different genes. Okay, two different genes. For example, I have given this one is the homologous, this one is the homologous, but if we'll take these two things, then we can say this is your non-homologous chromosome. This is your non-homologous chromosome in which two different allele are present from the two different genes. Okay, note down. Now we'll discuss three more terms: homozygous, heterozygous, and third one is your hemizygous. Okay, homozygous means if the homologous chromosomes of a particular gene consist of same allele. Homologous chromosome consists of same allele of a particular gene. Okay, I will describe you in detail. Next, what is your heterozygous? Homologous chromosome consists of different allele of a particular gene. Homologous chromosome consists of different allele of a gene. Okay, example. If in the case of homozygous, suppose a homologous chromosome is there. Okay, suppose this is the homologous chromosome. Okay, this one is your capital T, this one is your also capital T. Okay, so in this case it is known as your homozygous because same allele is present. In another example, if in one chromosome small t is present, in another chromosome small t is present, then this is also homozygous as same allele is present, but this one is your homozygous dominant. Homozygous dominant. Okay, whereas this one is your homozygous recessive, as you know small t means recessive. This one is your homozygous recessive. Okay, you understood? Means the homologous chromosome if consists one single allele, means one single type of allele, there or same allele on the both the chromosome, means that is your homozygous. If the dominant factor is present, that is your homozygous dominant. If the recessive factor are present on the both the homologous chromosome, then it is called your homozygous recessive. Obviously, heterozygous means homologous chromosome which consists of different allele. Means, for example, in one chromosome there will be capital T, in another chromosome there will be single t. This will be represented by capital T, okay. This one by small t. Okay, and this one as two different alleles are present on the homologous chromosome showing a particular gene or character, then it is known as your capital T, small t. It is your heterozygous. Okay, in the case of hemizygous, what happens? In the case of hemizygous, one particular gene is being expressed by only one allele. A gene is expressed by only one copy of allele. Means there are only one allele is present. Okay. If one allele is present, then this is your hemizygous. This one is your hetero. Okay, understood? If same type of allele is present on the homologous chromosome, then it is called your homozygous. If different allele is present on for a particular gene, then it is known as your heterozygous. If only the particular gene is being expressed by only one copy of allele, then that is known as hemi. Hemi means what? Half. Means only one particular chromosome will express the character. So that in this case we will say the hemi. Homozygous, heterozygous, hemizygous. Okay, note down. Next we will go to our topic, that is your sex determination. Means on the basis of what we can classify the male and the female. So we can simply say sex is an aggregate of those on basis of morphologically, physiologically and the behavioral aspects we can classify on the basis of the sex, that whether he is male or she is female. Okay, next point, most organisms reproduce, obviously we know, by the sexual reproduction by the two opposite sexes. Third point, occasionally there are also some organisms which are hermaphrodite in nature. Means in the same organism the male and the female reproductive organs are present. Means we can say, means in the case of human being, one is either male or other is female, either male or female. But in case of hermaphrodite, means in the same organism it consists of the male reproductive organs and the female reproductive organs. Common example is your hydra. Okay, it consists of both male and the female reproductive organs. Next is your parthenogenesis technique, or we can say parthenogenesis process. What is this process? In this process, what happens, the organism having only one sex can reproduce, which is a common example is your honeybee. The female honeybee can reproduce the male honeybee, or we can say that is drone, without fertilization. That process is known as parthenogenesis. There are also some species that have one sex and reproduce by parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis means what? Reproduction without fertilization. See, in which the female reproduce without the fertilization. That process is known as your parthenogenesis. Okay. So these are your introduction points. Please note down. Next we will discuss what are the various steps involved in the sex determination. Basically sex determination involves 3 steps. First one is your chromosomal sex determination. Okay, which is done by the help of the sex chromosome. Sex chromosome. Okay. First I will tell, then I will make you understand. Second is your gonadal sex determination. This is done on the basis of differentiation of the gonads. Okay. Next is your phenotypic sex determination. Phenotypic sex determination. It depends on the basis of sex hormones produced by the gonads. Sex hormones, I'll tell you in detail, don't worry. Sex hormones produced by the gonads. Okay, we'll make you understand by taking a simple example. How we can determine the sex? For example, first we'll take this one is your male, XY means male, this one is your female. Okay, means we can say simply this is your father, this is your mother. Okay, first we'll see on the basis of the chromosomal sex determination. So what are the chances? This X will cross with this X, then this X will cross with this X. Okay, I am taking first one. This X will cross with this X. Okay, making XX. Okay, means daughter. Okay, similarly this X will cross with this X to form the XX, means daughter. Okay, next this Y will make cross with this X, forming XY, means son. Okay, similarly this Y will cross with this X. This Y, I am writing this one. Okay, see, this Y will cross with this X. Okay, forming another XY, means son. Okay, so this was on the basis of the sex chromosome. Okay, first step of the, that is called your chromosomal sex determination. Then we'll go for the gonadal, then will the phenotypic. Next, as it is present the XY, it will develop testis, the male gonad. Okay, whether this one is your XX, this will develop your female gonad, that is your ovary, which goes on same for these two cases also. Okay, so this one is your second step, which is the gonadal sex determination. Okay, this testis will eventually secrete sex hormones, and also ovary will secrete various sex hormones, which will express for the, or we can say which will help in development of the various secondary sexual characters, which will eventually leads it to the male, and this one to female. Which one is the third step? That is your phenotypic sex determination. Clearly understood? Okay, so the first determination step is your chromosomal sex determination. Second one, basis on the chromosomes present. If XY, then it will develop the testis. XX, then it will develop the ovary. Then that is your male gonad and the female gonad, which will eventually secrete the sex hormones to produce the various phenotypic such as male or the female. So these are your three steps: chromosomal sex determination, gonadal sex determination, and last one is your phenotypic sex determination. Okay, gonadal. Okay, correct it. So the sex determination, which involves three steps. One is your chromosomal, gonadal, and the phenotypic sex determination. In many cases, the sex determination may be genetic, okay, as we have done the crosses. But in some cases, sex determination also depends on the various other factors, such as environmental factors and the hormones produced. Okay. So now we'll discuss the sex chromosomes and the autosomes. What are the sex chromosomes and what are the autosomes? So first we'll discuss what is the simply chromosomes. Simply chromosomes are thread-like structures, okay, thread-like structures of nucleic acid and proteins found in the nucleus of the most living cells, okay. Nucleic acids and proteins found in the most living cells carrying the various genetic information. Okay, so those are known as your chromosome in the form of genes. Obviously, the characteristics are transferred in the form of genes. So, what is the chromosome? It is a thread-like structure of nucleic acid and proteins, which is present inside the nucleus of the mostly living cell in the form of gene, and that is known as your chromosome, which helps in transferring, or we can say which helps in carrying the genetic information. Okay, chromosomes are divided into two types. One is your autosomes and other one is your allosomes or sex chromosome. One is your autosomes and other one is your allosomes or sex chromosome. In case of human, there are 23 pairs of chromosomes are present, from which 22 pairs of chromosomes are autosomes and 1 pair of sex chromosome is present. So human contains 22 pairs of autosomes and 1 allosome or sex chromosome pairs. Okay, so what are the autosomes? These are the chromosomes which carry genes for controlling most of the phenotypic characters. Okay, autosomes, basically these are the genes which carry, these are the chromosomes which carry genes for basically controlling the phenotypic expression. Okay, phenotypic expression or phenotypic characters and various metabolic characters. Okay, or we can say metabolism of an organism, such as formation of proteins, enzyme, etc. Okay, and these are labeled by using the numbers, as from chromosome number 1 to chromosome number 22, these are labeled by the help of the numbers, and it is designated by the letter capital A. Whereas the allosome or sex chromosome is only used for the carrying the sex containing gene. Okay, means we can determine the sex of the chromosome by the help of the presence of sex chromosome. Okay, and it is labeled by the help of the letters X, Y, Z, W. You are familiar with the letters X, Y, as it is present in the case of the male the XY and the female XX. But ZW is also present in the case of the birds, reptiles, etc. Okay, which we will discuss further. So, chromosomes we have discussed. What is the chromosome? These are thread-like structures which contains the genes which carry the genetic information. Okay, chromosome divided into two types: autosome, allosome. Human consists of 22 pairs of autosome and 1 pair of allosome or sex chromosome. Whereas the autosome carry the genes for basically for the phenotypic or the metabolism. Okay, and it is expressed by the letters and it is designated by the capital letter A. Okay, it is designated by the numbers, whereas the allosome or the sex chromosome are the chromosomes which carry the sex in determining gene, which are labeled with the letter X, Y, Z or W. X, Y in the case of simply we can say in case of the common example human beings, and ZW in the case of the birds birds or reptiles. Okay, please note down. So now we'll discuss two more terms. One is your homogametic, other one is your heterogametic. One is your homogametic, other one is your heterogametic. What is homogametic and what is heterogametic? If the chromosome, means we can say where the sex determines by two similar sex chromosome, means if two similar sex chromosome is present, then simply we can say it is as a homogametic, or we can say, for example, common example such as in the case of female XX. Okay, because both the sex chromosomes are similar. If both the sex chromosomes are opposite, or we can say, or we can different, opposite not, we can say different, then it is known as your heterogametic, such as your, for common example, XY. Okay, producing two types of gametes. Here it is producing one type of gamete, that is your X. Here it is present, produce two types of gamete, that is one is your X, other one is your Y. Okay, means if there is presence of two types of two same chromosomes, then it is known as homogametic. If it consists of two different chromosomes, sex chromosome, then it is known as your heterogametic. Means homogametic produces always one type of gamete, whereas the heterogametic produce always two types of gamete. Okay, this one is your homogametic, this one is your heterogametic. Next, what are your holendric genes? See, I am reading once again. The individual where the sex is determined by two similar sex chromosome is known as homomorphic or homogametic. Produce similar types of gametes such as X. See, I am reading the next one. When the sex is determined by the two dissimilar chromosomes, means X and Y. Okay, the individual is heteromorphic or heterogametic, producing dissimilar types of gametes. Mean one is X, another one is Y. Okay, next come to the third point, that is your Y-linked genes or the holendric genes. Simply, if the genes that are present on the Y chromosomes are simply said as the Y-linked gene or the holendric gene. Always you remember what are the holendric genes? These are nothing but the Y-linked genes or the genes that are present on the Y chromosomes. Okay, next, Y chromosome. The Y chromosome carries a specific gene or a particular type of gene that is known as your SRY gene. That is known as your SRY gene. The particular type of gene that is present in the Y chromosome is your SRY gene, which encodes a particular type of protein that is called testis determining factor or TDF. Okay, testis determining factor or TDF. Then TDF is required for the development of the testis and its duct system. If TDF is present, then it will develop testis. If TDF is absent, then it will develop ovary in the case of female and testis in the case of male, obviously. Okay, so the Y chromosome consists of a specific gene that is called SRY gene. SRY gene encodes for a particular type of protein called the TDF or testis determining factor. If the testis determining factor or TDF is present, it will develop the testis and its duct system. In the case of male, if the TDF factor is absent, then it will develop ovaries in the case of female. Okay, please note down the points. Now we'll discuss our next portion, means term, that is a dosage compensation. Dosage means what? Quantity. Compensation means if anything lacks, then to make it normal. Okay. So, for example, why the term dosage compensation is used here? In the case of male, the chromosome are X and Y, whereas in the case of female, it is X and X. You always remember the length of the chromosome or the size of the Y chromosome is much smaller as compared to the X chromosome. So we know, means if I'll do this like this, means I'm erasing it. Suppose this one is your X chromosome, this one is your Y chromosome. This one is your X chromosome, this one is your X chromosome. Okay. This one in case of your male, this one in case of your female. Okay. So, if here two X chromosomes are present and here only one X chromosome is present, then obviously chromosome consists of number of genes. So, might be a chance that there is a more amount of dose of genes present in the female as compared to the male. Okay. So here what happens, the genetics believed that a dosage compensation mechanism gets work to compensate the dose of the genes by inactivating one X chromosome in case of the female. Okay, and that was first established and termed by the Mary F. Lyon. Okay, who established or first or termed the term dosage compensation? The name is Mary F. Lyon. Okay, you understood what is the dosage compensation means to, if in case of the female and the male, to means equalize the number of genes, or we can say to compensate the doses of the genes. Some mechanism works that is known as your dosage mechanism. I am reading out. Genetics believe that a compensation mechanism might be operating for making the dose of genes on the X chromosome equal in both male and female. Understood? In the case of male, okay, in the case of male, one X chromosome, but in case of the female, two X chromosome. So, in case of female, it should be higher amount of dose of genes, but whereas in the case of female, when one X gets inactivated and only one X remains activated, then obviously the dose of genes gets similar to the X chromosomes of the in case of the male. Okay, so this mechanism is known as your dosage compensation. Okay, which was first established or termed by Mary F. Lyon, and this inactivated X chromosome is nothing but the Barr body. Okay, so your next term is the inactivated X chromosome is simply termed as Barr body. Who observed this first time? Her name is Murray L. Barr. Okay, the Murray L. Barr first observed the Barr body, not in the case of human, observed in the case of the female cat. Okay, in which cell? In the nerve cell. So this may be your 1 mark objective, where the Barr body was first observed and by whom? Murray L. Barr observed first the Barr body in the nerve cells of the female cat. Okay, please note down. Next we will discuss lastly the significance of Barr body. Note down. Next we will discuss the significance of the Barr body. What is the importance of the Barr body? Barr body is mainly used for the determining the sex of the unborn baby, or we can say sex of the embryo. Okay, the Barr body are used to determine the sex of the unborn baby or unborn embryo. The sex is determined by the presence of the Barr body. If the Barr body is present, then the embryo is female. If the Barr body is absent, then the embryo is male. Okay, the sex is determined on the presence or absence of the Barr body. Obviously, Barr body means what I have said, means if 2 X chromosomes are present, 1 X chromosome will become inactivated, means 1 Barr body is present. In the case of male, X is present, Y is present, only 1 X chromosome is present. So in this case, no Barr body or 0 Barr body is present, means if the Barr body is present, then the embryo is female. If Barr body is absent, then the embryo or the unborn child is male. Okay, if the Barr body is present, then female. If Barr body is absent, then male. Okay, so basically the Barr body is used to determine the sex of the unborn embryo. Next, Barr body are also used to check the genetic constituents, or we can say to check the various chromosomal abnormality by determining or checking or deciding the genetic constituents. What are the various genetic constituents by which the Barr body can determine the presence of various chromosomal abnormality or not? We will discuss that by the terms used by the help of some various examples. First example, obviously, in the case of normal women, see, first we will discuss in case of normal women. In the case of normal women, okay, XX, okay, 1 X chromosome will get inactivated. Always you remember that how much also chromosomes, sex chromosomes are present, only 1 X chromosome will be activated, other one will inactivated. Okay, so inactivated means only the X chromosome. This is only depend on the X chromosome, means 1 X chromosome is activated, other one is inactivated, means presence of 1 Barr body. So this is the female, normal female. Okay, so this one is your first example. Okay, a normal woman has 2 X chromosome, means 1 Barr body. Second, a woman with Turner syndrome. Turner syndrome means what? 1 X chromosome is present, other one is 0, means XO, or we can say means no another X chromosome, means in this case only 1 X chromosome is present which is activated, means in this case is there any Barr body? No. In this case there are 0 Barr body. See, a woman with Turner syndrome has only 1 X chromosome, means no Barr body, means no Barr body is present. In spite of no Barr body, she is female. Okay, these are the various chromosomal abnormality having various symptoms which we'll read in detail in our other classes, coming classes. So this one is your example of your Turner syndrome. Okay, next example is your super female. Super female consists of 3 X chromosome. Super female consists of 3 X chromosome. As we know, 1 X chromosome will get activated, okay, and other 2 will get inactivated, means this one is get activated other 2 gets inactivated, means the number of Barr body is 2 in case of super female, mainly in case of the Drosophila we found example. Okay, so in here 3 X chromosomes are present, only as we know 1 X chromosome will get activated, that's why the other 2 will get inactivated. So in this case two bar bodies are present. Okay, so these are the cases in case of female. Now we will discuss in the case of male. See your fourth example. A normal male with one X chromosome means no bar body, means one X chromosome and one Y chromosome, means one X chromosome gets activated, another chromosome is X chromosome? No, it is Y chromosome. So if no X chromosome is present and it is not inactivated, then no bar body. So number of bar body in case of male is 0. Now we are discussing about the male. Okay, before we have discussed about the female. Okay, so in the male the number of bar body is 0. As one X chromosome is present, it is activated, and there is as there is no more X chromosome, then therefore the number of bar body is 0. Now we will discuss another example. Second example in case of the male. In case of the male having the chromosomal abnormality, that is a Klinefelter syndrome. See, a male with having Klinefelter syndrome have the genotype, or we can say XXY. X, and this one is your X. Instead of Y, he has XY. Okay. A male should have what genetic constituent? X and Y. He has X, but instead of Y, he is having XY. So in the case of Y, as he is having XY, then one X chromosome is present. So the number of the bar body which will get inactivated. So the number of bar body in case of Klinefelter syndrome, in case of male having the Klinefelter syndrome, which has genetic constituents XXY, then the number of bar body is number 1. So we can say one bar body is present in case of the males having the Klinefelter syndrome. Okay, so these are your 5 examples based on the bar body. Okay, these are very important. Please remember all the examples. Okay, so first point, bar body is used to help determine the sex of the unborn embryo. If the bar body is in general we can say, if the bar body is present, then it is female. If it is absent, then it is male. In general I am saying, there are so much exceptions. Okay, bar body is present means female. If absent, then it is male. Bar body is also used to determine the various chromosomal abnormalities. As I have said earlier, a normal woman having 2X chromosome means one bar body. A woman with Turner syndrome means XO, means only one X chromosomes, means no bar body. Okay, the super females consisting of 3X chromosomes means one will get activated, other 2 will get inactivated. So the number of bar body is 2. Fourth one example, a normal male having the X and Y chromosomes means X will get activated, and the other Y chromosomes means there is no X chromosomes, means no bar body. Last example, male with Klinefelter syndrome means instead of XY, it is having XY, means X will get inactivated, and the XY, from the XY, the X will get inactivated. X will get activated, first X will get activated, and from the XY, the X1 will get inactivated, which will form the bar body. This one is a common exception, the male having one bar body. Okay, so these are your some examples and the significance of the bar body. Okay, so that's all for today. Till now we have discussed some introduction terms of the genetics. Also we have just started the introduction to the sex determination. Okay, until how much we have studied now, up to significance of bar body and some examples, okay, of the bar body. So that's all for today. We'll meet in our next class. Thank you.